أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. Tasawwuf is the most important science about man. Tasawwuf is about marifatullah. It's the science of knowledge of Allah. And the Sufis have said, knowledge of the self is knowledge of Allah. If you know who you are, then you understand your Lord. This is a time where Tasawwuf has almost disappeared. In some places the teaching is banned. In some places it's disconsidered. In some others the link has been broken. The link between teacher and student has been broken. In some other places a whole new thing has been reinvented out of a collage of journalism and storytelling from Idris Shah and Friedrich Schön and all these esoteric writers. But Tasawwuf is alive, can never be stopped. There will always be people teaching. It's a necessary science. Those who know it understand it better than anybody else. But it is important to put it in context of what they call knowledge today. People go to universities, go to schools, and they learn stuff about science, mathematics, they learn about sociology, anthropology, biology. It's not very difficult to observe that what they understand by human being is a concept deprived on certain most important fundamentals, most important of which is the very idea of freedom, the very idea of individuality, the very idea of a man whose destiny is more than just his biological functions. The knowledge of Tasawwuf is different, is of a different kind. What is educated in the schools and in the universities is the ability to perceive the world using reason. That what dominates this type of thinking is science. So people speak about science today as this is the truth, and often they use these scientific terms to speak about religious matters. So they say something is religiously correct, but this is scientifically right. I mean, something which is scientifically proven is presented to us as this is the final say. It doesn't go any further. I mean, those that they want to argue that there is no God, they use science as the proof of it. What it can be said, what it can be proven, what it can be demonstrated, what it can be seen. I just wanted to say that that teaching that is prevailing today, that we are giving to our children, we are simply exciting their cerebral functions at best. Another question is to consider what social interactions and how they benefit from it, from people who think likewise and so on. And how poorly educated will be our children if this is where we end. If that's all we give them, then they have not yet started to know, according to us, All they know, at best, is to be able to use reason in a world that it has been rationalized for them. So they are made into a brick. You all seen the wall of Pink Floyd, the movie. You know, this is education. You stamp them in the forehead, and boom, another brick on the wall. And this, you can carry on doing that to your children, but it is synonymous. It's almost like murder. You know, to deprive them from anything that has any spiritual quality. And then Tasawwuf comes in. And what Tasawwuf does? Tasawwuf it escapes from the boundaries of reason. In fact, it degrades reason to almost a calculator. And discovers the power of the heart. The heart is by far much more powerful than reason. By far. Much more powerful than the limbs, much more powerful than anything. Because the heart is capable of transforming what you call your world. To look at the world as an observer, you are observing the world, you are looking into the world. It's just a way of looking. It has certain advantages, but it's defective and is smaller than recognizing that you are not the observer, you are not the judging of the world, but you yourself, you are being observed, and you yourself, you are being judged. From looking out, which is what science teaches you, to looking upon you, which is what Taqwa teaches you. That you are the one being judged, that you are the one being tested, that you are the one put in question. Now, at that point, you become you observe the world. You suddenly become the very object of your observation, of somebody else's observation. But therefore, you are the one being tested. The ground in which the things have to happen is therefore within you. And then something starts to happen that it will never happen. It's impossible to happen if all you do is to judge the world. The world is like this. When the focus goes back into you, then something starts to happen. So you use a very different instrument, not the brain, but the heart, and you have a complete different focus, which is yourself, rather than the world. The world in the context of the self also, but the self is the center of the matter. And then you have a complete different look into the matter, which is not you observing, but you being observed. These are three different characteristics between these two different sciences altogether. One rises above the other, and yet one is denied, and the other one, which produces the continuity of this system, guarantees the continuity of this madness, prevails. No wonder the governments want these to continue, because this guarantees, the state of the affairs continues. That's what the state of Malaysia needs. They need that to continue. This one makes completely free. You are judged by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What you care is what He wants you from you, nothing else. The stream of this is where the knowledge goes into high ranks. And this knowledge is sad that is considered a path. It's a path. Those who have tasted this knowledge, they look at science and they say, well, it's dangerous. Science without knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is dangerous. And the proof of it is this 20th century. The equilibrium in this earth, whatever order there is that Allah has put in it, that keeps a balance between living organisms, that keeps health in the waters and in the air. We've managed to, it took billions of years to create this. But it has taken scientists good 50 years almost make food, air and water totally poisonous. Let alone that this society is more controlled as an individual than the Gestapo of Hitler. I mean, they wouldn't dream to enter into your bank account and to start knowing what you do in your credit card, knowing what you write in your emails. They tap into your phones. Basically, you have nothing is left. And yet, the irony of this is that this is presented as the society of freedom, because you can choose whether your God is a Buddha or a monkey or it doesn't exist. That's all. Can you decide on money? Of course you can't. Nothing. You are more taxed in this society than in the epoch of Nero. You know, the people are taxed more than the slaves are. The kuffar don't pay so much taxes in Dar al-Islam. So when they say GCA is bad, how about VAT? Income tax. Zakat has become what it is and so on. This is all reason. Because of reason can justify genocide. I mean, Hitler is bad, but Hitler was democratically elected and he was reasonable. He was using reason. Reason can justify destroying the entire earth. Reason can justify monopolies. Reason can justify riba. Jesus can justify adultery, can justify anything. Reason, you just put the data accordingly and that's it. How could you worship that? If you don't have a heart, I can reason murder. You can reason anything you want. The heart, which is a slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is different. And knowledge starts there. The heart, which is a slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is different. And knowledge starts there. This is the importance of Tasawwuf. It's not an exaggeration to say that without Tasawwuf, people become monkeys. They devolve. They don't evolve. Because without knowing of who you are, before understanding of your Lord, you cannot live in this world. And this is why the expression such as what Sheikh Darkawi used to say, that most people are dead. They are walking dead, zombies. They are walking dead. I mean, really, this is what Sheikh Darkawi wrote about the zombies already, 150 years ago. He predicted this society will become a society of zombies, thinking they are free and they are more controlled than ever. And it scares, because, you know, I have my sons in schools too. And they know very little about this affair. The matters of Tasawwuf are not things that you learn in books. You can learn mathematics in a book, although you will be better with a teacher. But Tasawwuf, definitely you need a teacher. Because this transmission is a transmission of the eye. They say eye to eye. You learn from the Shaykh eye to eye. And this has gone on and on. It consists of going through a path, and it has lamps that illuminate this path. One of them is Tawakal. And Tawakal is the thing I wanted to talk to you about today. Tawakal as a light. Tawakal is such an important affair that to know about it, it will melt you down several times over. It's a big thing. Tawakal means reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Reliance. Another translation is the abandonment of the management of the affairs. It's a wonderful expression, I love it enormously. The abandonment of the management of the affairs. The abandonment of the management of the affairs. I mean, am I not supposed to be in charge of my affairs? The abandonment of the management of the affairs. I mean, the people who do not know about these matters, they will think what you are doing is to go through the streets rolling crazy. No, the abandonment of the management of the affairs is the beginning of the management of the affairs. It's the beginning of becoming aware. Tawakal is immense. Immense. But there is no one of you who will know about this matter if you have not tested. And each one of you have tested it. Surely, it's impossible. See, Sufism, what will do is that in those experiences that take place within you, it will give you extra benefit, because you will learn what has happened to you. But it's something you have to do. To learn about Tawakal, you have to do it. I was 22 years old when I made a big jump in these matters. I knew about it. I have heard about the abandonment of the management of affairs. I have sat down in circles like yours, like this one, and I have heard it, and it have gone into me. But the time came where I had to be tested. It was years later, then something else happened to me. By then this must be already the year 1995. So we were in Scotland. And we had made several attempts to mint the first gold dinar. And it just didn't work. We couldn't get the supply, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. Months have passed by and we couldn't have the coins. So one day I decided, enough is enough. I have to go and do it. But I was a man of no possessions, but I had enough to buy one ticket to Dubai. So I decided to buy the ticket and go. Now when I went, I had no money to mint a coin. Nothing as well. So I was not bound by reason. I was moving by the heart. But I knew nothing of what was going to come. Just now when I left that morning, I had to go to Aberdeen because I bought a very cheap flight. I had to leave from Aberdeen, Amsterdam and then Dubai. So the journey from Inverness to Aberdeen is 2 hours train. So I got in the morning, I got my bag, I got the ticket, I put it in my thing and I slept in the train. When I arrived in Aberdeen, just to catch the plane, I went to the airport. I arrived to the airport and I went to pick up my tickets and I suddenly, instead of the ticket, I found my optical description, the eye test. It was the same envelope. I had put it just together with the other one, probably on top of it. So when I left in the morning, I just picked up the wrong envelope. Not the ticket, but this one. Rationally, I would have gone back. No, because there was not a chance. And there was no electronic tickets in those days. And I was there in the airport and I calibrating I should go back. So that means not a chance. And then I said to myself, no, but I'm going fi sabilillah. I'm going for Allah. And I remembered what Hajj Abdul Aziz did. Now, Hajj Abdul Aziz was called. The Sheikh was in London. And he said, I need you here. And Hajj Abdul Aziz didn't have any money. So he said, well, if I have any chance to get a plane, I have to go to the airport. So he went to the airport without any money or ticket. At least I had a ticket. He didn't have a ticket. He went to the airport because this is where the planes leave. Now, that's reason too, isn't it? I mean, it wasn't completely irrational. Yeah, the fact that he didn't have a ticket, well, I mean, that's another secondary matter. He went there and he found one of those tickets, round the world ticket. And there was one, obviously somebody had done the whole thing, and but there was one thing left. And he said, well, will I be able to use it? He thought. And he went to the counter and he said, can I use this? I said, yeah, just fill your name. And he filled the name and he got a ticket to London. Now, of those stories, I mean, I don't care about anything, but the thing that hallucinates me is he being sitting down somewhere he was in America, so I don't know where they were. I think they were in California at the time. He was in Los Angeles. He receives the phone call and he goes to the airport. I mean, what kind of madness goes into your brain? Normally, everybody goes to the bank, goes to this, goes to a friend. No, he goes to the planes. It's amazing. So anyway, I had that in mind and I said, I have to do something about it. So, you know what I did? I went to the queue. If I want to have any chance of getting in, I have to go to the queue. So I went to the queue. And I arrived and you know, everybody was presented a ticket. And when my turn arrived, they said, your ticket? I don't have a ticket. And the lady told me, so what do you want? I said, well, maybe I had a ticket, but I don't have it here with me. And what do you want me to do? You know, they'll have the ticket, that's it. So I said, yeah, it's true. And I left. What can I do? And then I gathered myself again and I said, Allah, I'm going for you. Help me. And I went back to the queue. And then there was a little bit less number of people. So, and I just went and the lady saw me and they started smiling. I mean, you cannot possibly be here again. I arrived and I said, I want to go into this plane. But you don't have a ticket. I know, but you know, I had a ticket. And I mean, there was thing. Probably they thought this is so comic and so absurd and so bizarre that they took pity on me. And the supervisor came and said, what's going on? This guy, he doesn't have a ticket, but he said he has one, but he doesn't have a ticket. He said, we cannot issue a ticket for you, I'm sorry. You know, you don't have to sleep, that's it. He said, I know. I said, you know, I tried to call my company, but it's Sunday, it was a Sunday, and it's closed. I said, which company it is? And they told me, this one. I think they have an office in London. Why didn't you call there? I said, please, yes, call. And I called, and there was somebody, and they never issue tickets, never, ever. But somehow the guy, on Sunday, it was the manager of the company. And you know, never, but they did. He asked me, do you really have the ticket? I said, I promise I do. They really, okay, I'm going to issue the ticket for you. And they issued me the ticket. And boom, I went through, but at that point they said, the lady told me, yeah, you got the ticket, but I'm afraid the plane has left. You know, with all these things, the half past, the whole thing. And honestly, at that point, there was a ding, dang, dang, dong. The flight, taking into on, it has 10 minutes delay. The lady tells me, don't take your luggage directly into the plane, just rush. And I just rushed, and boom, I was in the plane. From that moment of saying this, to that. It had passed like 10 minutes. And I said, thank you, Allah. I do this journey for you and nothing but to you. This journey is my journey of Tawakal. That's what I said to myself. And then I went. And I said, thank you, Allah. I do this journey for you and nothing but to you. This journey is my journey of Tawakal. That's what I said to myself. And then I went. And then I arrived to Sharjah, and I was with a friend of mine called Muhammad. And as I arrived, he came with an article from a newspaper that one mufti from Egypt has said that the only way to eliminate the power of the US dollar is to go back to the gold dinar. Awesome. Anyway, I said, wow, this is a great sign, and the Arabs will wake up to this. So anyway, I wanted to mint, so I said to Muhammad Makawi, who is the best minter in Dubai? When you have no money, what is the point of getting something cheap? You know, I mean, you don't have any money. You say, what is the best jewelry that is around? So I said, well, the best, he didn't know. He called a friend of his called Aitani. He said, well, the best person in gold in Dubai is Muhammad Shakarti. But he doesn't receive anybody. I mean, he's very particular. I said, no, I want to go and see him. So my friends took me there, and you know, I was going to ask him to mint the coins. Somehow, I didn't know how because I didn't have the money. So, and but I had to go to the planes because else, how else are you going to fly? So I went there, and I sat down, and I said to him, what can I say to him? Well, I better talk about Allah because this is the only thing that I can possibly say. So I started to say the whole story about the gold dinar. We do this thing for Allah, and if we obey Allah, we will succeed. If we obey the kuffar, we will be a failure. Muhammad Shakarti was sitting down there looking at me like this. And when I finished, he said, like this, condescending. Look, I know this business, okay? I know this business of gold. I'm a gold dealer. My father was a gold dealer. My grandfather was selling gold to these kings in the Middle East when there was no oil yet. You don't stand a chance of doing what you want to do. Not a chance. Don't you understand? The Arabs are totally dependent on America. If America wants, they can buy all the gold. They have enough money for doing that. They can buy the entire country if they want to. It is impossible what you are talking about. I mean, he was so crude, not acknowledging anything of what I had said. So crude and so rude I felt that I remember I said to myself, all right, you are not the one who is going to mint the coin. But before I go here, I'm going to give you a lesson. And I said to him, this is the problem. You know what is the problem with all of you? Is that you still don't have any taqwa. You fear Allah, but you fear America more. You believe in La hawla wa la quwwata illa United States more than you believe in La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. You fear everything except him. You follow everybody except him, and that's why you stay in the state you are in. If you really want to have any chance in this world, you better stick to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. because that's what you are for. You are just filth of the earth, and the kuffar keep laughing at you. And I was really, I said it really strong. My friend, Mohammed Makawi, who had brought me there, he was like this, what have you done? They're going to throw it out, But Mohammed Makawi, he saw me so angry. The Arabs have this thing. When you become very temperamental, they either throw you away and you never see them ever, or they say, this man is sincere. And that would happen. And then he looked at me and said, well, you know what, I don't believe in what you're doing, but I'm going to mint your coins for free. I'm going to do the dice for free. I'm going to mint the first 1,000 coins for free. Just like that. I was hallucinated, but Muhammad Makawi, I saw a glimpse on the back. He was like, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. And that's how the first dinar of Dubai appeared. There was, if there is any similarity to reason in this story, it's pure chance. Planning, zero. I heard about the guy just hours before, because I went the day after. That's how it happened. I promise to you, if I would have gathered all my means, if to make this decision I would have looked into myself and looked into what I know, I would have never done it. If I would have been reasonable, I would have never done it. It would have been impossible. If I had, I was in dear circumstances economically, but if I would have kind of gathered out what I could, I still could not have done that. As a matter, I got the largest refinery in the world, minting my coins. One of the most highly respected individuals in the Middle East, in the Gulf, in the gold business, doing my coins. But instead, I abandoned reason, and I relied upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I say abandon reason, please don't think you become irrational. I still took a train and took a plane, and I didn't want to walk. I'm mistaking the car, my ticket, but that was not in purpose. So not to follow reason doesn't mean become irrational, as that picture of irrationality as somebody who's crazy. It simply means that is something to take into account, but you don't rely upon it. You rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The stories I can tell you is endless. This one is just one because of the gold dinar. This is how the gold dinar started, just in case somebody wants to know. This is how the first gold dinar was implemented. Out of a complete flash of explosion of, I had to do something about it. And I had to really ask everybody in my community who had power to get it done. But reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what is the thing I'm trying to tell you with this? I'm trying to tell you that what I knew about Tawakal before that day and what I knew after was totally different. There was no book I could read about this, because you don't know what happened to me when I was in the plane. You don't know what happened. If I try to explain it to you, you will not understand. You don't know what happened at that moment. You don't know what happened when, after all that event took place that day, and I was back in the house of my friend, and I was alone. What happened to me that day when I suddenly realized that I've done is amazing. And that is when you learn. Hearts of the Laziz. The triumph of Hearts of the Laziz was to have a heart that drove into the airport. The ticket, I don't care about the ticket really. It is the nice part of the story, but not for me. For me, the moment is when he made that decision, which is crazy. I'm going to go to the airport. That is so unbelievably powerful. That shows a heart of monumental proportion. A man who's capable of triumph over this will break any jail. The jail that incidentally we ourselves create. And that is the jail of reason. Of the things that you have to do. Of the things that you have to, have to be proper in a world which is totally improper. And this is what breaks through. Isn't that beautiful? That we have within our reach such affair. And how do you intend to learn about this matter if you yourself, you are not ready to desire the impossible? If Omar is about to make a breakthrough with the maybe he's the man, but I don't care. What is important in this is he has a journey there. He wanted it, so he's coming close to him. Each one of you have a heart, and you know you have duties, responsibilities. You know them well. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you. Move forward, because this is the affair of knowledge. You move despite of yourself, so that Allah can pour onto you His blessings. Because don't you see, Allah loves the slave. Allah loves the slave. Allah loves the slave that makes dua, but He loves the slave that acts in submission. He loved Hajj Abdul Aziz when he did that. He loved it. He said, "This is my man. This is my man. Come to me." And he walked to him. And he lifted up. And he changed that man forever. This is knowledge. This is the knowledge of our people. Because Allah is waiting for us. He's giving us the instructions. All we have to do is to fulfill them. But don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. I know you are trained to look with the means of your hands and the means of your pocket. And the people tell you this is to be reasonable. And people they will insult you and they will be awful with you if you do not behave according to that pattern. They will treat you like a madman. And yet, this is not who you are. This is not what you are capable of doing. This is what entraps you. This is your prison. Your knowledge, your money, your wealth. This is your prison. It's not your freedom. Your freedom is to know that from here to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the fulfillment of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered for us, there is no obstacles. That there is no obstacles. Your freedom is to know that from here to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the fulfillment of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered for us, there is no obstacles. That there is no obstacles. Imagine, there is no obstacles. That all the obstacles from here to that fulfillment are created by us. And that's why when you come to an obstacle, the Sufi celebrates, because he realizes, oh, this is my nafs speaking back to me. why I become scared here. And then those who are fortunate, and through the company, and through their own heart, they are encouraged to move forward. And they jump over that self-induced, self-created problem. Then they become higher, because they have yet another veil has been removed. Do you think we could do anything about the gold dinar if we were going to be reasonable? I can sit down here with you and explain to you why we should close down everything, every activity that we are doing right now. I have massive reasonable. The amount of reason of this exceeds by far the one that says, go and do it and expand and keep pushing and move all over the place. As fast as you can, as quick as you can, as strong as you can. Rely upon him completely, it doesn't matter what state you find yourself in. That is totally unreasonable. And when Allah says no, if you stop, then what's happened? That's what I liked about getting the wrong ticket that day. Because, hey, I already want to do something really crazy. Don't make it more difficult for me, But, this was like, let's see whether this idiot really wants to come for me or for something else. Let's give him a little shake in the ground. And he shook me. Really, just to move back home. Really, honestly. The logic was to go back. No, I continue. And the same thing with us. We have difficulties here. And and it comes from unexpected quarter. But if we just say, oh, that's it. No, they say, okay, this is the time to multiply everything we do by 5. Now that's unreasonable, isn't it? It's wonderful. Isn't it doing the things that you can? Slowing everything down. But have you thought, I've not come across the thing. Am I the one helping them to get out? Or maybe I'm the one who is holding them. Because maybe we are holding them. Be careful with that. Because we will be helping them if we are saying the right things and behaving completely like scared to death. Then the people will say, oh, if this is what the people who are talking about it do, I may as well do nothing. Imagine the responsibility that is to be in the front. Taqwa. Only Taqwa can save us there. Only Taqwa. But for the people of this affair, Taqwa is the affair, is our business, not the gold dinar. What we care is about how this relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that prayer that you can have with Him, that you can say, I did it today, I went a little bit farther, I wasn't scared today. With a but, I know I still have fallen short. Tomorrow I will do better. Tomorrow I will do better. And then you go and you put your head down there, and then you pray to Him, and you are broken down, and you lift yourself any way you can. And this is where the Sufis, this is the secret, this is our treasure. What I like about this is that, is to want to do that, and to go any farther and farther and farther. And Allah makes it easy, and Allah makes it difficult, and it's all the same. If you are wise, you learn from both. If you are ignorant, you learn always from the failure. I'll tell you why. Because this is when people go back to Allah. When they're in the middle of the storm and they're about to die, they say, Allah help me. Then they forget. In success, people easily forget. But if you know, you learn from both. Because they are all indications for you. indications of what really matters, that your heart is supple towards him, that your tongue is supple towards him, that you come intimate with him, that you love him more than dunya, that it becomes more important him to you than anything else. And when you have that, and you are living with that, and then you grow into it, and then you start going crazy into it, and then you want nothing but him, then you know that you have achieved something, that you are coming into something. You never say you have arrived. Because of this affair, you know that it doesn't matter how much you have worked, what is in front of you is much, much past. But you can say to yourself, I look back and I say, oh, I was there, now I am here. And then you know that you are in a path that you are advancing. And this is what you take with you. But Tawakal is what pushes you forward. It's the breakthrough, it's the liberator, it's the banner of freedom. I'm out. I escape this prison of being reasonable. I'm the perfect Malay with 50 years old, and I've done everything right, and I have done nothing. Nothing of any value. And I know it. And I've been reasonable, and I've done nothing. But no more. No more. And that comes from you. Nobody else can tell you. Nobody. Because you say, nobody can tell you this because you are perfectly reasonable. I can justify my existence perfectly well. I've done it because of this and this and this and this and this and that. But you go and tell that to him. Because you know it's not true. It was full of fear and fear and fear and fear and fear. And break from that. Break and taste the sweetness that Allah can pour onto you, despite the fact that people will call you crazy. Because some people fear money, some people fear fame. And that's the dunya, and that's the sickness. But to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then dunya is nothing. Shaykh Darkawi has put it so clear in this matter. And nobody has ever spoken more clear on this. He said, either you are the master of dunya, or dunya is your master. And there is nothing in between. That's clear. That's clear. Dunya under your feet. Squeeze them. Don't ever let you dominate you. Ever. Never. Never. And when it does, resist. Because there's nothing in it that it can help you. But Allah can help you. And if you follow Allah, you know what the Sufis say? You follow dunya, dunya runs away from you. But you go towards Allah and dunya runs after you. Our duties with Allah are clear. Nobody can say, I don't know. I didn't know what Allah ordered. Everybody knows. You go and ask the people, what is riba? Well, what is riba? They will have difficulties. But do you say, riba is haram? They say, yes. What have you done everything about it? Anything about it? Nothing. I mean, nothing? No, nothing. And what do you intend to do? No, nothing. Somebody else has to do that, not me. Are you crazy? What have you got into your head? Are you mad? This is worse than fornication. But it's much worse to say, I'm not going to do anything about it. That's much worse. Spiritually means you are dead. Dead. I mean, you can just, you can read Idris Shah for the rest of your life. You are dead. Spiritually dead. That's zombie. Is what Shaykh Darkawi called zombie. So in other words, mathematically, is what Juncker called the worker. You know, he fulfills his duties. And he feels happy doing it. For that, you have to completely close him down. Spiritually, you have to make him dead. He cannot think the way Shaykh Darkawi did. Because then he will be able to do the things that they should not be done. And yet, imagine the magic of this. Is that, difficulty, easiness. Is that the way of Allah is easy. فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَتَّى وَأَتَّكَ وَصَدَقَ بِالْحُسْنَى فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. وأما من بخيل واستغنى وكذب بالحسنى فسنيسره للعسرى. The way of Allah is easy. فأما من أتى وأتك وصدق بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى وأما من بخيل واستغنى وكذب بالحسنى فسنيسره للعسرى. The path of easiness and the path of difficulty and the conditions attached to it. If you are generous and you believe in the goodness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you trust in the goodness of Allah, then He will make it easy for you. The amazing thing is that the path to victory is not far. You know, some people have said to me, oh, it took them 300 years to reach to this level of riba that they have today. So it will take 300 years to get rid of it. That is false. Totally false. You know, the path to down is like this, but the way up is vertical. When the light comes, the darkness disappears. When you swim towards Allah, you swim 10 times faster. Look at every generation, every big thing in Islam, starting from the beginning. It didn't take him 300 years. How long he was in Medina?
10 years. 10 years. Mecca, 30 years. Mecca, 10 years Medina.
And everything happened already. And has never reached higher. It doesn't matter what we do, we will never reach where they reach. So they went up there, and then gently going down. And then another people came up and down, gently down. And up and gently down, in a scale that keeps going down. And this is our affair. But the things happen fast and quickly, because the matters of the heart are strong. But gather the people how? By telling them the dunya is going to make you rich, the gold dinar is going to make you rich. That, if you want to drive them mad, yes. If you are evil, you will say that. But if you want to give them the taste of wisdom, tell them, do it for Allah. Allah. We love Allah, we do it because He wants it. Because this is our way. Because we obey Him, it doesn't matter what it looks like. And then that person who then moves, then he will learn. He will learn. He will look back upon himself and say, I was hypnotized. I was hypnotized. I was in a complete, total blank. I was just following orders. Not knowing. I was just feeding piece of paper like an idiot. When 4 people are managing the whole thing and playing with us like we were idiots. That is the situation, Khalid, that we are facing. Imagine what a journalist will make of you if you start writing that. And all of you, you've known of these matters. They are not new to you. Don't go back home and say, oh, I sat down in this circle of dhikr with Shaykh Umar. Oh, I am so blessed with knowledge. No. I don't say these things to make you happy. I say these things to you to trouble you. To trouble you deeply. So you go back with the face of responsibility. And you say, I'm going to do more. I will do more. Not because of Shaykh Umar tells me that, but because Allah, because of him. That's my business with him. And I know it's true. I know it's true. And fear not for provision, for he is the master of provision. How many times have we heard that? Not to follow reason doesn't mean to be irrational. Or rather, to be irrational doesn't mean to go mad. It means that's not the center of the universe. That's not the center of your life. But Allah is the center of your life. And move towards Him. Run towards Him. Like a lion, like a tiger runs towards Him. Run, 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 run. And when you think you've run, remember, and you have arrived somewhere, remember there is a lot more to run. And free your life from the prison of reason. Free your life from what other people think you should do. For not is what other people that you will have to play justice to. It's not to them that you will have to make account, but to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you will have to make account. And those are the people that you have been serving so carefully will not be able to help you at that day. But only Him and what you have done for Him. So Tawakal, put Tawakal in your heart, build it up, explode with it, drive with it, walk with it, dream with it, talk with it, act with it. Make it the center of your life. Go mad with it at times, in the sense of He wants us to do something, and He wants us to serve the people. For we are in need of Him, and He is not in need of us. But when He wants us to do something, and we know it's in our hands to do it, do not hesitate. Hesitate no more. But move forward. Plant yourself forward. And how old do you have to be for this? I've seen old people, like young, with a heart that is immense and capable of doing things that other people are scared. I've seen young people like old men, like retired mentality. They are already thinking of how the thing is going to stop and end. They cannot move a little finger. It's not of age. But those who are younger have advantage. Those who have a younger body. And they have time ahead of them. And that's why Allah loves the prayer of the young. He loves the prayer of everybody. Right. But He loves the young man who comes and prostrates to Him. And those who can start early, they can walk farther. This is Tasawwuf. This is the science of the great people before us, that they have passed on to us. Without this knowledge being restored, and the hearts of the people being alive again, and the stones transformed into supplements, and being free, the Muslims will have no chance. And for those that they enjoy this dhikr and this knowledge, your place is in the front line. In the front line, not in the back, in the front. Move forward. Or else, don't dare to talk about Tasawwuf. Because you will be thinking you are telling the people of Tasawwuf, you are poisoning them. This affair belongs to those who are in the front, devoted, broken to Him, who think of nothing but serve Him. And everything else is just only secondary to it. This is our people. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give success to all of you. Success in Him.
Ameen.
Desire of knowledge of Him.
Ameen.
Desire to act for Him.
Ameen.
Desire to help those of your brothers in problems.
Ameen.
To worry about them more than you worry about you.
Ameen.
To worry about the Muslims more than you worry about yourself.
Ameen.
Only then you will find satisfaction in what you have trouble with. And may Allah gives you wisdom and clarity in these days of darkness. And may Allah give you light so that other people can benefit from you. And may Allah give you courage to speak so that other people learn. And may Allah give you courage to act so that even more people can benefit from you. And an open heart, and a clear heart, and a willing heart that desires Allah Himself and company. May Allah give you the desire of good company. For it has been said that you become what your company are. And may Allah give you success in Him. And may Allah give you success in this world and in the next. And may Allah gathers us like He gathers us today in His garden. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun.